I'm Nixie Pixel and you're watching OSAlt, your source for open source. I applaud your optimism about Linux gaming, you guys. I didn't know that we were one in this. I am pretty hopeful about the subject myself, so I thought what better time to give you some updates on prior videos that I've done. I talked about Valve, Steam, and Left 4 Dead. It was kind of wonky then, but I have awesome news to tell you now. And OUYA, our first ever open source gaming console that recently wrapped up the Kickstarter campaign. They had $8 million in their pockets. So they have a lot of new juicy tidbits to share, and I'm gonna talk to you about some of them now. Brought to you by Audible. Rumors have been floating around for years that AAA titles will come to Linux, and nothing's ever really come of it, so I can understand your skepticism as far as Valve is concerned. They've been working on their Source engine and Steam client since about 2011, but just recently, last month, put up their Linux blog. Most of the post consisted of, we've almost got Steam running at full functionality on Linux, and we definitely need some more Linux programmers, yada da 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 blah blah blah, and then it appeared. Left 4 Dead is now running faster natively in Linux than Windows. The frame rates of this super power-hungry first-person shooter goes like this: 315 frames per second in Linux OpenGL, 303 frames per second in Windows OpenGL, and a lowly 270 FPS in Windows and Direct3D, which is typically the standard for games. So what did the team at Valve find out? That OpenGL is a good alternative to Direct3D, which in turn implies that the Linux kernel is more efficient than the Windows kernel. Now let's talk OUYA, the relatively lightweight gaming console that runs on Android. And when I say lightweight, I mean kind of underpowered. But hey, what can you expect for a $99 gaming machine? Well, apparently a lot now that they have $8 million under their belt. They've enlisted the help of some pretty powerful companies in the music industry, like iHeartRadio and TuneIn, which has a combined 8,000 stations that you can stream music on. For me, that's great. I don't think I've downloaded an actual MP3 since Napster. And since we're talking about playing media, why not hook up with one of the best open source media players around? XBMC, it's an amazing entertainment hub, and it's open source, of course, so that's really exciting to have that kind of visual experience out there. You know how when you go to YouTube to watch a music video and you type in Bloodhound Gang or Lady Gaga, it routes you to VEVO? Well, OUYA has VEVO as well now, so you get to check out really high definition versions of You and Me, Baby Ain't Nothing But Mammals. Is that a copyright thing? Sorry. Enough about music, what about games? This is a gaming console, I want to know about gaming, hello? Can we say the missing puzzle piece of the Final Fantasy series? FF3! Oh, and if you're familiar with the people that made Guitar Hero and Call of Duty, yeah, they made a game exclusively for the OUYA. It's a first-person shooter, believe it or not, called Offensive Combat. You may still be thinking, wait a second Nixie, I remember when you called this console underpowered just a couple minutes ago. And you're exactly right. I mean, you can only put so much oomph into a game you play on your Android phone. It's still going to be essentially the Android phone experience on your TV, right? Wrong. OnLive has signed up now for this device, and I know it's not open source, but you can play any game imaginable on the cloud. This is really cool because you're taking the performance of the hardware in OUYA, or lack thereof, and making it irrelevant by using OnLive. They have a 10 gigabit internet connection, which is great for their servers. You're playing any game that you want on the cloud for the most part, and you're not even having to worry about your device overheating. So that's great news for OUYA. Whether or not it's great news for you too depends on if you've pre-ordered an OUYA or you have plans of getting one next year. Huh? Do ya? Let me know in a comment below, and until next time, be sure to subscribe, little button up there, so you don't miss out on next Friday's episode of All Things Open Source. Thanks a lot. Bye! Now it's time to pay my bills. I actually much prefer to have my addiction to sci-fi sated by sound waves. Nothing makes a road trip more interesting than listening to War of the Worlds. If H.G. Wells isn't really your jam, don't worry, there's 100,000 more audiobooks sure to charm your cochleas. And all you have to do to get your free audiobook is go to audiblepodcast.com/osalt and sign up.